Why is there a need to create visionaries? Because we don't have too many of them. Education is something more than mere literacy. And for that, we need to be very clear about what we want out of education. The students of this college have gone on to become leaders in many of the fields that they decide to go and work in. And this means I'm not necessarily saying that they are visionaries. From college, we have examples who have succeeded in each of these levels, and a few who have gone on to become visionaries. Why is there a need to create visionaries? Because we don't have too many of them. And because we don't have too many visionaries, we are in many situations where we can do much better. If I'm to put it bluntly, in many situations we are in a less than desirable position. But let me come to the role of education itself. I think here we must begin by saying and drawing a distinction between education and literacy. Literacy is the basic reading, writing, arithmetic, and other basic skills. But that is not enough. Education is something more than mere literacy. And for that, we need to be very clear about what we want out of education. Education is not just a degree. Education is not just passing from one class to another, from one year to another. Education is something more than the certificate that we receive at the end of a program of study, be that a program of study for 12 years, or be that a program of study for 3 years or 4 years, as the NEP now suggests. I'd like to make use of St. Stephen's College as an example and talk about how, in the situation that we have, the students of this college have gone on to become leaders in many of the fields that they decide to go and work in. And this means I'm not necessarily saying that they are visionaries. You can see several of our former students who are leading, but not necessarily as a visionary. So visionary is an entirely different level altogether. But what we try to enforce in college at St. Stephen's is that they should be very thorough with what they do. And that is one of the success factors, I feel, which has distinguished many students from St. Stephen's College from other students. And when I say being thorough, I mean being thorough to a very large extent. A large extent meaning that they should know all the nitty-gritties. They should know the fundamental aspects of whichever subject or discipline they decide to work on. While this is consistently encouraged in college, we also encourage them to make use of their skills, to discover more about themselves, and most importantly, to share these skills with others. Very often, when they share their skills with others, whatever the skills may be, it could be an academic skill, it could be a social skill, it could be a talent which they have either discovered within themselves or which they have picked up along the way of their education. Whatever their skill or talent or ability may be, the ability and the willingness to share this with others is an important ingredient in their becoming a leader. Not a visionary, but a leader. So, if we have a consistent leader with a positive frame of mind, and when I say positive frame of mind, I'm talking about the larger goodness, the larger benefit which this leader can bring to the larger community. And when I say larger community, it could be his or her family, it could be his or her academic community, it could be his or her state, it could be their country, it could be the world. And I'm happy to say that from college, we have examples who have succeeded in each of these levels, and a few who have gone on to become visionaries. I can give you the example of one person who has become a visionary. His name is Roy, and we refer to him as Bunker Roy. In the early 80s, when he completed his graduation, unlike most of his fellow batchmates, he decided not to appear for the civil services. He decided not to appear for the most attractive jobs. Instead, he took a year off to go to a remote village in Rajasthan called Tilonia. And he went to Tilonia and he spent a year there to dig a bow well. And as he dug this bow well, he realized that there was no school in Tilonia. He realized that the people of that village in Rajasthan, they were uneducated. And so he decided to do his little part in trying to bring them education. So today, when you visit Tilonia, you will find that it has a school, a very successful school, but most importantly, the women of the village, who in the traditional sense continue to be uneducated, illiterate, they are what the world calls solar engineers. They have gone on to become experts at harnessing solar energy, and they have become so good at it that they have offered their expertise not just to Rajasthan, not just to India, but to the world. Now, Roy is somebody I would call a visionary. He studied well at school. He had the gumption and the courage to take a decision which was uncommon at that time and do something which he thought was of larger benefit. And therefore, he went to this remote place. He did his part by putting a bow well, but he didn't stop there. He looked around and found that there was a need, there were inadequacies in the village, and he set himself to correct those inadequacies in his own small way. Over the years, between the 80s and now, he has made the village self-sufficient, and he has placed this village on the global map. Now, this is what I would call a visionaries. We need to draw a distinction between literacy and real education. And real education means being able to be thorough in what we do, in what we study, and to be a leader, you need to think outside of yourself. And as you continue to be a leader and think of the larger benefit you can bring based on the discoveries you have made about yourself, you will then become a visionary. This is all I have to offer for now. Thank you very much for your time.